So a lot of you absolutely know that Grand Rapids is an incredible place to live. And in this series, we've spent a fair amount of time diving into some of the suburbs, getting in deep on a lot of the amazing cities that surround Grand Rapids and even the cities that surround them. Today, however, we're going to dive into actual Grand Rapids itself. We're going to talk about a lot of wonderful fun things and what it's like to live, work, and play in the city of Grand Rapids. My name is Nick Belmore, and I'm a local real estate agent. I specialize in helping buyers find the right homes for them and their family. And I also specialize in helping sellers trade the home they have now for the home they ultimately want in the future. So let's come along and take a look at a lot of our pieces of the city of Grand Rapids. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you are interested in getting more information about what it's like here in our area. Definitely follow this channel and leave comments about the things that interest you guys the most on these videos. Okay, let's take a look at some of the things here in Grand Rapids. Number one, let's take a little time as we normally do in these videos, and we are going to focus on price. If you were to look at the average home sold in the city of Grand Rapids over the past year, we'd be looking at an average sales price of $196,000. So Grand Rapids, actually, when you compare it to a lot of our suburbs, is a more affordable place. Now, Grand Rapids has a ton of diversity, let me just say that, because it is absolutely our largest municipality by size. So no question, you can find homes that are in the millions in Grand Rapids, as well as even some of the fixer-upper style homes in the low 100s. So it really does come down to what you're looking for, because there's so much here in the city of Grand Rapids. Next, we start to talk about our distances. And obviously, a lot of times we start to talk about downtown. If you were to go ahead and you were to go downtown for a concert, for an event, for anything along those lines, well, obviously you're right in Grand Rapids. So in some cases, you could just be a minute or two away, and in some cases up to 5 to 7 minutes away, depending on what area you're at inside the city. When we start to get to Lake Michigan, our other place that we talk about a lot of times in these videos, it's about a 43-minute ride if you wanted to go to the beach over there at Tunnel Park and spend a day at the lake. And if you're looking to get to the airport, it's about a 10 to 12-minute ride to the airport. Maybe you're leaving on vacation or leaving for business, something along those lines. Still a quick, easy trip over to the airport. When it comes to schools in the city of Grand Rapids Public Schools has a school rating of a C+. When we start to get into the neighborhood descriptions for the city of Grand Rapids, there's absolutely a ton of diversity, with the very first homes being built in Grand Rapids into the late 1800s, and of course Grand Rapids absolutely boomed all through the early 1900s and into the 40s, and of course along with the 50s and 60s. So you do find a little bit more in certain areas of those older style homes in Grand Rapids. A lot of 30s and 40s built homes out there without a doubt. However, Grand Rapids really did stay steady. So as we start to get out of some of the city center areas, we will absolutely find that there is a ton of different eras of construction in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And of course, even now with downtown being such a popular destination, we see constant construction on some of the high rises and the condominiums that are going on downtown, including a lot of retrofitting some of the old buildings to have the new modern conveniences while still retaining some of that older look in Grand Rapids. When it comes to shopping in the city of Grand Rapids, this is another one where it is a very large area. So there's no doubt we have access to a lot of the staples when it comes to Myers, when it comes to Aldi, when it comes to all those different major chain grocery stores that we see here in West Michigan, including Family Fare, including the Fresh Market. We do see all those choices in the city of Grand Rapids. However, There is a little bit different stuff out there too when it comes to unique grocery shopping experiences. One of them is the Bridge Street Market, and obviously that one's got a ton of local produce, a lot of baked goods down there. Downtown Market itself is another cool place year round. They have events in there, a lot of specialty shops, whether you're looking for vegetables, whether you're looking for specialty meats or even high-end meats in that area, or if it's something that is some of their amazing baked goods, it's definitely a place worth checking out. Also, there is the Fulton Street Farmers Market is another one, amazing, one of our biggest farmers market in the area, and also definitely worth checking out. Let's talk about some of the amenities in Grand Rapids, and I will say this as I start to go through this list. Please understand, we try to take a look at as much as we can, but there's so many things happening in the city of Grand Rapids that it's hard to include every single thing in this video. So if there's something that you know about that I didn't mention, make sure to go ahead and mention it in the comments so it can be included in future videos and so people can know about it. If you're watching this, check the comments. See what other things I might have missed that locals have gone ahead and put on there for value in the city of Grand Rapids. First one I want to talk about is the free outdoor movie nights over there at Studio Park. If you're looking to get outside, catch a movie, I think that is an awesome place to go. And again, we're typically seeing that monthly, and you can usually get down there with a pretty good seating, all that type of stuff. So if you're interested in checking out some movies outside, Studio Park is probably a great place to start. The other thing we have is we have quite a bit of free admission to some of our museums, and even as we get into some of our larger institutions and museums here, there's so often discounts in order to get in really, really inexpensively. So I'm going to start with some of the free stuff here. The Grand Rapids African American Museum and Archives is free to get into. Great historical place to start to learn a little bit about the culture and some of the changes that Grand Rapids has gone through. The other thing I want to talk about is Tuesdays and Thursdays from noon until 5 o'clock. You can actually go ahead and check out the Grand Rapids Art Museum. Now, the Grand Rapids Art Museum, definitely cool. I've been through there with my family, and there are so many cool art pieces to check out in this place. Some of them from very famous artists, some of them from more unknown local artists, but definitely a fun afternoon if you're interested in taking in some art and a little bit of culture over in Grand Rapids. Last but not least on our free list, the Bruce Dice Mineralogical Museum at Calvin University. Now, actually, my cousin and my cousin's two kids love going through, and they love rocks. They love all these different things. So this is probably something that they've been through. Definitely worth it. If you're into geology, if you're into education, cool thing to go check out here in our area. Now, we still also have some of the other museums that we'll touch on in our things to do, but I want to talk about an event really quick that's well worth checking out here in our area. If you're local, you've probably heard of Art Prize, and that's September 13th through the 28th. This is a great competition amongst artists and sculptures, and so much of this work is actually displayed out in the city, out on the streets of Grand Rapids. And of course, Art Prize does have the largest cash prize in the nation going out to different artwork as artists compete for it. It's a really cool event. A lot of local businesses get involved, a lot of street vendors, a lot of that kind of stuff while Art Prize is going on. A ton of people, so you do see a great swell in downtown of people coming to look at the art. It's a fun event to go through, and of course at the end you can find out what piece actually wins the prize. Hopefully it's the piece that you and your family chose as you went through and compared all of the stuff at Art Prize. Super fun to do. Love when Art Prize comes to Grand Rapids. Okay, another event that goes on downtown, definitely worth mentioning, is the World of Winter, and that goes pretty much from January 12th all the way to the end of winter into the beginning of March. It's one of the largest winter fests in the Midwest. It includes more than 100 different art installations there with weekly events, activities such as the silent auction. There's discos, there's DJs, there is a ton of stuff, even a circus during the winter here in Grand Rapids. So another cool one to check out. There's also a skate park over at 555 Monroe. That's definitely a cool one to check out if you're into skating. And you notice here in Grand Rapids, as we go through a lot of the suburbs as well, there is several different skate parks that are really modernized, have a lot of cool things to them. If you're into some of that craziness where you're jumping and flipping and grinding skateboards, we are probably a great place for you to be. I personally, probably not much of a skater. That being said, I'm really sometimes amazed at how many facilities we have publicly that were clearly very expensive to build that are out there for it. And I love to watch kids out there with maybe a little bit more talent than I have and definitely more balance on their skateboards. So super cool thing to do. The Riverwalk is another one that's worth looking into. Just a super cool event all the way through Riverside Park. One of the other things that is really cool about Grand Rapids is there are over 14 free disc golf courses out there in the city itself. So that's definitely worth checking out. If you like disc golf, if you're into it, there is a ton of open spaces that have it set up. Yes, obviously we are a big college town because we know that disc golf is definitely popular with the college kids, and I love to see people out there taking advantage of all the things that Grand Rapids offers. When we start to get in the parks, you notice I didn't dive into a ton of different things because Grand Rapids itself has over 75 city-run parks and 43 county parks. So that would make this video hours long if we were going to go through and talk about the amenities. But I will say this, that's one of the highlights of the city. Wherever you're at, there's definitely some type of public green space not far away. And of course, a lot of our parks as we go through here definitely attach into the Grand River and a lot of the small creeks and rivers that feed into and around it. So a ton of natural beauty when it comes to the park system. But like I said, so many, we probably can't get into them on a video like this. Another thing that I love about Grand Rapids and a lot of our areas, dog parks. There's so many great dog parks, including Covell Dog Park in here. Hillcrest Dog Park is another Grand Rapids one, but there are a lot of these. And you notice on a few of these videos, we touch on dog parks, and I think this is another great feature when it comes to our Grand Rapids public amenities. We're gonna dive into a couple other things to do when it comes to Grand Rapids, and I will say this is another one too, where this list probably doesn't do justice for how much there is to do in this area. So if you hear the few things that I'm about to go through right now and you say to yourself, Nick, I can't believe you missed this, definitely go through and throw it into the comments. I wanna know, what are some of the things that you guys love most about the things to do in Grand Rapids? What are some of your favorites? What do you do over and over again here in the city of Grand Rapids itself? A couple of cool ones that I want to at least dive into, definitely worth checking out, is going ahead to the 6th Street Park, and on Saturdays from 1 to 5, it's $5 per person and you can rent a kayak and cruise your kayak down the river. I've been kayaking for years. I have my own. I absolutely love it. And if that's something that you've ever wanted to check out, if it's something that you've ever wanted to try out, definitely cruise down to 6th Street Park on Saturdays, rent a kayak, and take a cruise to the river. It's wonderful. I guarantee you're absolutely going to love it. Another thing down there is Flannel Jacks, and of course, this is where it's at for the axe throwing. If you are into whipping axes down range and bringing out your inner Viking, this is probably a cool place to spend an afternoon. When we start to get into some of the big things, I gotta dive into one of my absolute favorites, and that is the John Ball Zoo. And me and my family, we have been actually members at the John Ball Zoo for years, and it's gone through a lot of changes in the past few years where they've dumped a lot into the exhibits, making it more accessible. And the John Ball Zoo, for a smaller zoo, I would say, especially if we're comparing it to a place like Detroit, is absolutely amazing. It's so well kept. The animal displays are amazing. You can really get up close with so many things at the zoo. And of course, if you are a member member at the zoo, you get first and early access to a lot of the events that happen at the zoo. But also, it's not just about what you're going to get. It's definitely about that money going back into the zoo, and you see over the years how much the zoo puts the money back in to improve it, to improve the habitat, to keep it up, but just to improve the experience at the zoo. They put so much into it, and we absolutely love the John Ball Zoo. My favorite events, and I won't get into every single thing, but no doubt the Halloween event is one of the favorite ones for me. You really get to go through, and of course a ton of local businesses will sponsor, and you can walk through the zoo dressed up, trick-or-treating through, and get to check out all the animals and get to see the whole entire process. Whether it's the pygmy hippos, all the way to the tigers, all the way through the petting farm where kids can get up close with the chickens, with the goats, with the bunnies, all that stuff in there. I absolutely do love the John Ball Zoo. So if you're here, if you're in the area, definitely check that out. The Woodrow's Duck Pin Bowling inside the Amway Grand, another cool thing to check out. It's just like bowling, except for it's all scaled down, almost like bowling with an oversized bocce ball. Definitely a fun sport, definitely something worth checking out if you have time in the area. Of course, there is all the rest of the time where you could actually go to Studio Park, check something out. I know they have the free movie event, but you can also go anytime you want. Maybe there's something new out that you're interested in seeing. Definitely one worth looking at. Another one, and actually one of our most popular destinations here in the Grand Rapids area, is the Gerald R. Ford Museum in Grand Rapids. A ton of unbelievable exhibits, and of course it is named after President Gerald R. Ford, who was born and grew up here in the Grand Rapids area. So another one definitely worth checking out. Last but not least, the Grand Rapids Children's Museum. And this was another one where my family had a membership as my kids were younger, and it was definitely worth every penny. If you have little kids, definitely spend some time and check out the Children's Museum in Grand Rapids. It is changing all the time, and there's constantly new exhibits put into there. However, this is a hands-on museum when it comes to making music with different things around the house or different instruments. Sometimes there's a piano in there. There's oftentimes a full operating beehive, and it's coated through glass, and they have access to outside, so your kids can actually watch the bees through the glass in the hive, building the hive, making honey, that whole entire process. Of course, giant Legos, there's the motion tables, there's all these different things. Of course, also, how could I almost forget, one of the coolest things in there is, of course, Meyer is a big sponsor for the Grand Rapids Children's Museum, and inside the museum, there's a whole section that is set up for kids to play in, like it's a Meyer grocery store. All the way from checkouts to a meat counter to the produce and the shelves, and it's all stocked with kids' play food. Of course, every single Meyer has the horse you can ride for a penny, and here they have it, but it's absolutely free. So while you're fake shopping in the Meyer grocery store, you can also go ahead and ride the horse, and that, of course, the kids love. There's also a little mini pizza area in there, and as that leads through, there's a little fake post office for kids to play with. Sometimes there's half a Volkswagen Beetle, so they can pretend that they're working on the car, and it's stuck into one of the walls. I don't know, I go on and on because I absolutely love the Children's Museum in Grand Rapids. If you have kids under 10 years old, it's definitely a must-see. If you have even teenagers that want to act like kids for a day, they're going to have a great time at the Grand Rapids Children's Museum. Let's take a moment and let's talk about some restaurants here in the Grand Rapids area. Now, if you've seen a couple of these videos, you know I don't go into really chain restaurants, any of that kind of stuff. And let me say this, because Grand Rapids does have all of that stuff just the same, but I want to spend time in these videos focusing on some of the unique restaurants. Maybe focusing on some of the stuff that you've never tried before or you don't see in every single town that you might travel to. And this is absolutely a strong point for Grand Rapids, Michigan. When it comes to small, unique restaurants, that is definitely a PowerPoint for us. We have a ton of it. So this is another one where I'll throw this disclaimer out there. This is not a comprehensive list of every amazing. This is just a few that I thought I could fit into the video in the time we have. That being said, what did I maybe miss in here? Make sure you go ahead and comment below about your favorite restaurant here inside Grand Rapids and what you love about it. That's the cool thing. There's so much to choose from here. So I'm going to start in the very beginning, because yes, I love these. They're the best. We're talking about Yesterdog, and they are known for their hot dog combinations, for the high quality of the hot dogs they sell, and just a super fun experience. Brown Butter is one of the best crepe houses in the area. If you love crepes, if you love that experience, Brown Butter is definitely a place worth checking out. Of course, a lot of these places are over in Easttown. We're going to kind of break them up area by area. Wolfgang's, another popular place to check out. Breakfast spot with some amazing dishes in there. And then, of course, there is the Gojo Ethiopian cuisine, traditional Ethiopian dishes. If you're looking for something a little out of the ordinary, maybe something different, definitely a cool place worth checking out. If you're over in the Wealthy Street area, and I love this area, one of the other things I love, and I'll add this in here even though it's a little bit off, the Grand Rapids Academy of Music has the Wealthy Theater in that area, and they do concerts there. My daughter sings over there, so we're down there quite a bit. Definitely checking it out, and there are some cool places to eat over by Wealthy Street. So a couple of them worth checking out is the 40 Acre Soul Food Kitchen. Just comfort food, so well made, super delicious, beautiful view of the Wealthy Street area. Of course, it's a very pedestrian area, great place to walk around, check out those businesses. The Electric Cheetah is another one, so amazing burgers. They're known for their mac and cheese. Wealthy Street Bakery, of course, is another one. They're a cafe. They serve pies, pastries, pizza, sandwiches, all that kind of stuff. And of course, it's Grand Rapids, so there's definitely beer and wine there just the same too. The Donkey Taqueria, yes, we love our tacos here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. This is one of the coolest places to go out if you're interested in street tacos and that type of stuff. If we were to start to look downtown, a couple of places worth checking out. Probably one of the most popular places here in Grand Rapids is the Butcher's Union. Really cool gastro pub, just a great atmosphere right downtown, open to the street. They have a whole garage door that rolls up. Really fun, really cool place to go. Love that area. Monsoon, the Vietnamese place, is another place if you're interested in checking out something new. If you're interested in kind of expanding the horizons, I would definitely check out the Vietnamese food that we have here in the Grand Rapids area. Of course, there's the Bob, the big old building downtown, and yes, there's some concerts, restaurants inside there. Definitely another cool place to go, putting you right in the heart of where everything is going on. Now, this is one that I haven't been to, but I've heard so many of my friends tell me about it, and the people on my team have been there and they rave about it. That's Stella's Lounge, which is set up like an 80s style arcade, and they are known for their burgers, including their stuffed burgers. So definitely one that is on my list, and hopefully you guys know a little something about it. And if so, tell me about it in the comments. Of course, Sanshay's Bistro, another one downtown in that area. A couple other places too that I do love downtown is Leo's. If you're interested in seafood, another really cool kind of unique place down there that I've loved to check out, and there is a fair amount of cool stuff. The Chop House is another one downtown. If you're in the mood for an amazing steak, the Chop House is definitely a cool place to check out as well. Like I said, I know this was not everything. Make sure you tell me about it in the comments. What are the restaurants that should have been on this list that maybe didn't get in this round? I think one of the things we're probably going to end up doing is probably a restaurant tour all around downtown Grand Rapids as well, because there's so many cool things in there. So hopefully this video about Grand Rapids itself brought you a little bit of value. And if so, go ahead and like and subscribe so that we can make sure that we're getting you videos over and over about some of the cool things going on in our area. And if you and your family are interested in finding the right home for you, reach out to me, because my contact information is in the description below, and I would absolutely love to assist you in finding your dream home.